Whoever had this symbol in this world going to shake us up 2 times. And it just came to me quickly. And I wondered, what nation ever someone something similar to this one? Because they will be very intelligent people. They're going to produce many inventions of all types. They're going to be so powerful that they're going to use that to shake us up real hard. And they're going to almost destroy themselves. But later out of it, a new generation could rise. This time they will know what to do. Those people are very intelligent people that had that symbol. They had produced many things, invent many things.
My name is Stoll, Axel Stoll. I'm a doctor of natural sciences. I'm familiar with all natural sciences and look at the problems in its entirety. Are you also Aryan? Yes, of course. I'm of Germanic heritage, that's all. My father was a military officer and volunteered to the SS during World War II. He was obligated to have an Aryan certificate. It's interesting, almost everyone was in the military, and your family had to have an Aryan certificate. Yes, my father, of course, all military personnel. And that's the reason why I'm quite knowledgeable in military technology. Here's the German flying saucers, developments as you can see. These are the early models, saucer models 1, 2, and 3. And these are the Haunebu flying saucers, different models. Haunebu. Yes, the name Haunebu. Haunebu. It's of Germanic origin. There's a swastika painted on it. Yes, on the initial ones. The moon is populated, Mars is populated by Nazis, and a few more planets. Probably also several other fixed star systems, but that's a guess. But that would mean that the moon and Mars is inhabited by Nazis? Yes, that's correct. The backside of the moon. Have you seen a UFO? Yes, several. Where? Here in the area of Berlin. Several. They perform vigorous aerial maneuvers. The movement, zack, zack, zack. And they're piloted by the Aryans? Yes, that's correct. So where did the Aryans come from? Presumably, but I can't prove it, from Aldebaran. From that star system. From the star system of the head of the Taurus, 68 light years away. With effects faster than light, it's only a short hop. So the Aryans basically weren't born on this planet? No, not born on this earth. Well, there was also so-called Vril Society in the Third Reich, and they had telepathic contact to Aldebaran with the Vril women, mediums. What about the wisdom of the Aryans? Are they more intelligent? How high is their IQ? High, very high. Were there also black people on Aldebaran? No. This planet is a prison planet.
And they become powerful. And they also shake us up 2 times. And the second time, with the help of another. These 2 have took us up 2 times real hard. Warning us. And they almost destroy themselves. But out of it, a new generation is coming. Strong with much better equipment, everything, powerful things going to be developed by these 2 people. Then the third one that will finally bring about purification of this land in this continent would be a man with red cap, red hat, or red cloak. Red hat.
In 1943, Nikola Tesla died in a New York hotel. Among his confiscated belongings was a formula he called the chrono-frequency equation, a theoretical method of bending time using electromagnetic fields. The government took his papers and gave them to John Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, who claimed they were worthless. But this is where it gets scary. Soon after, the U.S. Navy began Project Rainbow using ideas taken from Tesla's secret notes. Officially, it was to make ships invisible to radar. But on October 28, 1943, the USS Eldridge disappeared without a trace from radar, then reappeared miles away. Seconds later, it was back in Philadelphia as if it had never moved. Years before any of this, in the late 1800s, a writer named Ingersoll Lockwood wrote a strange story about a boy named Baron Trump, guided by a man named John, who finds portals under New York. At first it was seen as fantasy, but over 100 years later, readers noticed odd links to the Trump family, even the name of Donald Trump's youngest son, Baron.
Now we do not know who that nation is, or what people, But they say those people will have a large population, and they will also have much scientific inventions of all types. Very powerful nation going to be. So once he starts moving, these others too will join him with all their power and might. The three of them are going to come here quickly together, and nothing can stop them. This time they're going to come right here. They say even they're going to come here so bad they come here for breakfast. Tomorrow morning maybe we get up at breakfast time and the whole sky will be darkened. Old man said, I don't know what will cause it darkening of the sky. Then he said the people will be raining from the sky. And in one day they're going to get control of this whole continent. And they're going to cut us up into 4 sections.
So history has recorded the first big UFO sighting in the United States is 1947 in Roswell, New Mexico, very famously, right outside Roswell. But actually, there was, in some sense, a bigger and more significant event sighting 2 years before, also in New Mexico, at exactly the moment the U.S. government was detonating the first atomic weapon, shortly thereafter used in Japan. People don't want to be called crazy, so no one said too much about it for quite some years, but people within the U.S. government believe it's true. Nick Pope is a former UK Ministry of Defense official who's followed this story very closely. He joins us to assess. Nick, thanks so much for coming on. So this is a story that most, I think, Americans are not even aware of, but clearly people within the U.S. government believe it's real, or they wouldn't have attached this to a spending bill, correct?
Correct, yes. This is being called the Roswell before Roswell. And you're right, people with some knowledge of these intelligence programs who've been briefing Congress about this made sure that this was put into the legislation.
So here we have the nuclear connection again. This was around the first detonation in human history of a nuclear device. Subsequent to that, you've had UFO sightings at nuclear missile bases, around nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, nuclear-powered submarines. Nuclear has some connection to these sightings, no?
That seems to be the case. And again, Congress is demanding answers on this. We had the latest report from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence last week. That highlighted the fact that there were several hundred more sightings being investigated, military sightings, than we'd heard of before. Talked about unusual flight characteristics and performance parameters of this. And yeah, we must get to the bottom of this UFO and nuclear connection.
Whoever pilots these UFOs seems to be against the detonation of nuclear weapons.
They had 10, 20, 30,000 tons of these nerve gases during the war, but Adolf Hitler again and again ordered his staff, we will never use poison gas. I'm not going to allow the use of poison gas anywhere, even if it would win a battle or a victory for us. The enemy must choose it first, and we will then retaliate, because the Germans had signed the Geneva Convention. And although this isn't the received picture of Hitler that we have now, this is very much what's in the documents. We see Hitler ordering that poison gas is never to be used. We see Winston Churchill in July 1944 trying to persuade his general staff to allow the British to spring a surprise poison gas attack on German cities. So I think that although the evidence is thin, this is very iffy and putty, we have to say that if the Germans had the atomic bomb, they probably would have demonstrated it first somewhere before using it on a civilian city. Look at the bombing of Britain. For 12 long months, no British town was bombed. Hitler wouldn't allow the bombing of any British towns. He absolutely forbade the bombing of London until Churchill began the bombing of Berlin in August 1940. The evidence there is solidly in that direction also. But of course, this isn't the picture you get if you read the modern history books. You get a completely different picture.
Although establishment historians suggest that the Germans set a pattern for barbaric civilian population bombing during the Spanish Civil War. Do you feel that that's correct? Or?
This is Hui. They look at the air raid on Guernica in April 1937. Well, I went to Guernica and I had a look over the records there, and I looked in the diaries of the German airmen responsible. Field Marshal Richthofen, the later German Air Force Field Marshal, he was at that time the commander of the Legion Condor, which was operating in Spain on behalf of General Franco's forces. A total of 9 planes, I repeat, 9 planes, 3 times 3, went in and bombed a bridge at Guernica. The bridge was invisible because of the dust. That part of Spain gets very dusty in the summer, and the clouds of dust and smoke obscured the target. These 9 planes dropped their tiny bomb loads, for German planes at that time. They didn't have bomb loads like the later B-17s or British Lancasters and Stirlings or Halifaxes. They had tiny bomb loads. These 9 planes dropped their bombs on Guernica. The retreating communists, who pulled out of the town shortly afterwards, set fire to the whole town. A total of 97 people were killed in the air raid on Guernica. 97 people. I mean, less people than that are killed on the roads of California on one Easter weekend, probably. A total of 97 people. I know this because I checked over the death registers of that town. I do that kind of research. I didn't believe the newspapers. But of course, Guernica, the Spanish Civil War, is now all propaganda. Pablo Picasso's famous picture of Guernica. And of course, that is symbolic for the kind of lies that emerge. We know, if you look at the Pablo Picasso record, you find out that Picasso painted that particular painting. He began the sketches. He began work on that painting long before the Spanish Civil War even began. But of course, truth is very often stranger than fiction.